Hi, I'm Cameron. I spent the last 15 years of my life being the son who actually showed up. Every Sunday dinner, every doctor's appointment, every middle of the night emergency when dad couldn't find his medication. That was me. My older brother Marcus, he'd swing by maybe twice a year, always with some excuse about his demanding career in real estate development. But when dad passed last month, suddenly Marcus was front and center, crying the loudest at the funeral. I sat in attorney Sarah Mitchell's office watching Marcus fidget with his expensive watch. He'd barely made eye contact with me since we'd arrived. "Thank you both for coming," Sarah said, adjusting her glasses. "I know this is difficult timing, but we need to address your father's estate." "Just get on with it," Marcus said, leaning back in his chair. "Some of us have actual work to get back to." I shot him a look. "Dad's been gone 3 weeks, Marcus. Show some respect." "Don't lecture me about respect, Cam. I love Dad just as much as you did." Sarah cleared her throat. "Gentlemen, please. Now, your father's will was updated 6 months ago." "6 months?" I interrupted. "Dad never mentioned changing his will." "That's because he wanted it to be a surprise," Marcus said quickly. Too quickly. Sarah continued. "The estate, valued at approximately $1.2 million, including the house, investments, and life insurance, has been divided as follows. Marcus receives 90%. Cameron receives 10%. The room spun. "What? That can't be right. Dad and I talked about this years ago. We were supposed to split everything 50-50. "Apparently he changed his mind," Marcus said, and I swear I heard smugness in his voice. "Sarah, there has to be some mistake," I said, my hands gripping the armrests. "I'm afraid not. The will is properly executed and witnessed. Your father was of sound mind when he signed it." "Sound mind? Dad had early-stage dementia. You know that, Marcus. You were there when the doctor diagnosed him." "He was lucid most of the time," Marcus said, standing up. "Look, Cam, maybe you need to accept that Dad finally recognized who actually understood business, who could properly manage his legacy. You barely visited him." "Quality over quantity, little brother." Marcus grabbed his briefcase. "Sarah, send the paperwork to my office. Cameron, I'd appreciate it if you could be out of Dad's house, my house, within 30 days. "Your house? Are you serious right now?" "Dead serious. It's mine now. Dad made his choice." He walked toward the door, then paused. "Oh, and Cam, don't even think about contesting this. You'll just embarrass yourself and waste whatever little Dad left you on legal fees." After he left, I turned to Sarah. "This isn't right. Dad wouldn't do this." She removed her glasses, cleaning them slowly. "Cameron, off the record, something felt off when Marcus brought your father in to change the will. Your dad seemed confused, kept looking to Marcus for answers." "Marcus brought him in?" "He said you were too busy with work, made all the arrangements himself." My stomach dropped. "I work from home. I was never too busy for Dad. What else did Marcus say?" "He did most of the talking, actually, kept reminding your father about certain things, how you'd been difficult lately, how you'd refused to visit, how only Marcus truly understood his wishes." "That's completely backwards. I visited every single day. I believe you. But Cameron, unless you can prove your father was manipulated or not of sound mind when he signed this, the will stands." I stood up, my mind racing. "Then that's exactly what I'm going to do." The next morning, I called Dad's sister, my Aunt Linda. She'd always been sharp as a tack and had zero patience for nonsense. "Cameron, honey, I've been waiting for you to call," she said when she answered. "I heard about the will from Marcus. That boy couldn't wait to brag. Aunt Linda, something's really wrong here. Dad wouldn't cut me out like this." "Of course he wouldn't. Come over right now. We need to talk." An hour later, I sat in her kitchen while she poured coffee with shaking hands. "Your father called me about 8 months ago," she started. "He was upset, confused, said Marcus had been visiting a lot suddenly, filling his head with all sorts of stories." "What kind of stories?" "That you were planning to put him in a nursing home, that you'd been stealing from his accounts, that you only visited him when you needed money." My coffee cup rattled against the saucer. "That's insane. I would never—" "I know that. I told your father it was garbage, but Marcus kept at it. Every visit, he'd reinforce these lies. Your dad's memory was getting fuzzy, and Marcus used that. He'd remind your father of things that never happened until your dad started believing they were real. This is elder abuse, manipulation, exactly what it is, and there's more." Linda pulled out her phone. "Your father sent me voicemails. I saved them because they worried me. Listen." She played one. Dad's voice, frail and uncertain. "Linda, I don't know what to think anymore. Cameron hasn't called in weeks. Marcus says he's been asking about my will, pushing me to sign things, but I thought, I'm so confused. I called him every single day, I said, my voice breaking. I know, sweetheart. Marcus was isolating him, making him doubt reality. She played another message. Marcus is here again. He says Cameron's been talking to lawyers about having me declared incompetent. Is that true? Why would he do that? Projection, I said. Marcus was planning to manipulate Dad, and he was setting up a defense by accusing me first. Exactly. And I have 12 more messages like these. Linda gripped my hand. Cameron, you need to fight this. Your father loved you. The real him would be horrified by what Marcus did. I met with Sarah again that afternoon. She listened to the voicemails, taking notes. This is strong evidence of undue influence, she said. But we need more. Medical records showing his mental state, witnesses who saw Marcus manipulating him, documentation of your actual relationship with your father. I have a whole binder, every doctor's appointment, every medication schedule, photos of our Sunday dinners. I documented everything to help track his care. Perfect. And we need to talk to his doctors, his neighbors, anyone who can testify about Marcus's sudden increased presence and your consistent one. His neighbor, Mrs. Chen, she saw everything. She kept telling me how nice it was that Marcus suddenly cared, but I could tell she thought something was off. Get me her contact information. We're building a case for undue influence and potential fraud. If we can prove Marcus systematically manipulated a vulnerable adult to change his will, we can get it invalidated. My phone rang. Marcus. I put it on speaker. Cameron, how's the house hunting going? His voice dripped with false cheer. Cut the act, Marcus. I know what you did. What I did? I was there for Dad when it mattered. You manipulated him. You isolated him and fed him lies about me. Wow, sore loser much? Dad made his choice, Cam. Fair and square. Fair? You exploited a man with dementia. Careful with those accusations, little brother. That sounds like slander. His tone shifted, harder now. You contest this will. I'll bury you in legal fees. I'll make sure everyone knows you're the ungrateful son who wouldn't accept his father's final wishes. Back off. No. What? I said no, I'm not backing off. I'm going to prove what you did. And when I do, you're going to lose everything. Marcus laughed, but it sounded forced. Good luck with that. The will is airtight. We'll see. Talk to your lawyer, Marcus. You're going to need one. I hung up. Sarah was smiling. Now we move forward, she said. 3 months later, we'd built an overwhelming case. Medical records confirmed Dad's declining mental state. 6 neighbors testified about Marcus's suspicious pattern of isolated visits. Dad's doctor stated he'd specifically warned against major financial decisions. Bank records showed Marcus had borrowed $15,000 from Dad right before the will was changed. Sarah arranged a mediation meeting before we filed formal legal action. Marcus showed up with his own lawyer, a sleek woman named Jennifer, who looked expensive. This is ridiculous, Marcus said as we sat down. We're wasting everyone's time. I have 47 pieces of evidence that say otherwise, I replied. Jennifer opened her folder. My client acted in good faith. Your father wanted to reward the son who respected his business acumen. Respected his dementia, you mean, Aunt Linda said from beside me. She'd insisted on coming. Marcus pointed at her. You're biased. You always liked Cameron more. I liked honesty more, Linda shot back. Something you know nothing about. Sarah laid out documents. We have voicemails where Mr. Bennett Sr. expresses confusion about statements your client attributed to Cameron, statements we can prove never occurred. We have testimony from Dr. Reeves that your client was specifically warned not to pressure Mr. Bennett about financial matters. We have neighbors who will testify they witnessed your client visiting only when Cameron was absent, often staying for hours with the door closed. That's circumstantial, Jennifer said, but she looked less confident. There's also this. I pulled out my phone. Mrs. Chen recorded something. She was worried about Dad, so she started keeping her window open during Marcus's visits. I played the audio. Marcus's voice, clear and manipulative. Dad, remember? Cameron said he wanted you in a home. He's just waiting for you to sign the power of attorney so he can take control. But I'm here to protect you. You can trust me. Sign this new will, and everything will be safe. Dad's voice weak and confused. But Cameron visits every day. He brings my medications. No, Dad, that was me. You're getting confused again. That's why we need to do this now, while you're still lucid. Sign here. The recording ended. Marcus had gone pale. That's illegal recording, he shouted. California is a 2-party consent state, but there's an exception for protecting dependent adults from abuse, Sarah said calmly. Mrs. Chen had reasonable belief that a vulnerable adult was being exploited. The recording is admissible. Marcus turned to me, his composure cracking. Cam, look, maybe I pushed a little hard, but Dad was going to waste everything. You don't understand business. I was protecting his legacy. You were stealing from him. That loan was temporary. I was going to pay it back. You manipulated a dying man, I said, my voice steady despite my rage. You made him doubt his own memory, doubt me, doubt everything real in his life, for money. It wasn't just about money. I deserved that inheritance. I'm the oldest. You barely knew him. I was there every single day for 15 years. Marcus stood up, his chair scraping loudly. You self-righteous, this is my inheritance, mine. Dad chose me. Dad didn't choose anything. You chose for him. You abused him. Abuse? I gave him clarity. He was confused and I helped him see the truth. The truth that you invented? I stood too, facing him. You're pathetic. You couldn't earn Dad's respect honestly, so you stole it from a vulnerable old man. Cameron, please. Marcus's voice cracked. He actually looked like he might cry. I'm your brother. We can work this out. I'll give you 30%, no 40. We can split it more fairly. Just drop this. No. 50-50 then. We'll divide it like Dad originally wanted. Come on, Cam, we're family. You should have thought about that before you tortured a man with dementia. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I made mistakes. I pushed too hard, but I'm apologizing now. Your apology means nothing. You didn't wrong me. You wronged Dad. And he's not here to forgive you because he's dead, partly from stress you caused. Marcus's expression shifted from desperate to dark. He stepped toward me. You're going to regret this. You think you can destroy me? I'll make your life hell. I have resources, connections. Is that a threat? Sarah asked, her phone now recording. Marcus grabbed my shirt. Back off, Cameron, or I swear. Security entered, pulling Marcus back. He shoved one guard, who stumbled. Jennifer was already at the door. This meeting is over, she said quickly. As they dragged Marcus out, he shouted, This isn't finished. You hear me? I'll bury you. Aunt Linda squeezed my shoulder. You did good, honey. Sarah was already typing on her laptop. Well, he just gave us assault and making threats. This got easier. The legal process moved quickly after Marcus's outburst. His assault on the security guard, combined with the recorded threats, prompted the DA to investigate elder abuse charges. I sat in Detective Morrison's office 2 weeks later, going through everything again. Your brother's lawyer's trying to argue he was under emotional duress during the confrontation, Morrison said. But combined with the evidence of financial exploitation and elder abuse, we have a strong case. What happens now? He's being charged with financial elder abuse, fraud, and assault. The will contest is separate, but the criminal charges support your civil case significantly. The will was invalidated 4 months later. Judge Martinez was thorough in her ruling, calling Marcus's actions a calculated exploitation of a vulnerable family member for financial gain. I stood outside the courthouse with Aunt Linda and Sarah. My phone rang. Marcus, from jail. Cameron, please, I need you to post bail. I'm your brother. I made mistakes, but we're family. Blood is thicker than water, right? Actually, Marcus, the full quote is, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. It means the bonds we choose are stronger than the bonds we're born with. You taught me that. I'll make this right. I'll do whatever it takes. Please, I'm begging you. You had every chance to make it right. You could have been honest. You could have visited Dad because you loved him, not because you wanted his money. You could have been a brother. I'll go to therapy. I'll change. Just give me another chance. Dad gave you chances every day of your life. You threw them all away. Now you face the consequences. You can't just abandon me. Watch me. I hung up. Sarah smiled. How does it feel? Honestly, sad. I lost my father and now I've lost my brother too. But Dad deserves justice more than Marcus deserves forgiveness. The estate will be divided according to your father's original will, Sarah said. 50-50, though Marcus's half will likely go to paying his legal fees and restitution. Good. Aunt Linda hugged me. Your father would be proud. You fought for him when he couldn't fight for himself. 6 months later, Marcus was convicted. He got 3 years for elder abuse and fraud, plus 5 years probation. I sold Dad's house. I couldn't live there with all the memories of what Marcus had done. I used my inheritance to start a nonprofit helping families spot financial elder abuse. On the first day we opened, I put Dad's photo on my desk. We did it, Dad, I said to the picture. Justice. My phone buzzed. A message from Marcus's girlfriend, Emily. He wants to apologize properly, face to face. He's changed. I deleted the message without responding. Some betrayals don't get second chances. Some apologies come too late. And some lessons only stick when consequences are real. Dad taught me to stand up for what's right. In the end, that's exactly what I did. Have you ever had a family member betray your trust? How did you handle it? Drop a comment below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more true stories about justice and revenge.